All right, so we are on our second recipe of the day. But in the meantime, I did already put the tofurkey in the oven. The only thing I had to do to the tofurkey was to baste it, which the baste is pretty much just olive oil and soy sauce mixed together, dumped on it, wrap it up, tuck it in. So I don't really consider that necessarily doing much of cooking because it's really more heating, which is more of my usual. So now I'm working on creamy garlic mashed potatoes. This recipe also comes from the Food Network. And I've already cut up the potatoes and added kosher salt and water. And so we're currently in the point of kind of waiting for those to begin to boil. I was planning on having making green beans almondine, and I may have mentioned that in the last video, I don't recall. But when I opened up the beans, I purchased last week because I didn't want to have last minute shopping, and also I wasn't sure how much accessibility with COVID, things are kind of shutting down, and I was just like, let's just have everything. Well, unfortunately, the green beans were probably 1 day past their prime. They were just on that edge of, they were a little slimy and a little smell, but not much, but I was like, let's not risk it. So I made a salad instead, just simple greens. So I think it's spinach and I don't remember the arugula, I think. And then I just added a couple of yellow pepper and an orange pepper, the little tiny ones. Cut those up, put them in there, and then I've tossed them in the refrigerator for now, but when I get stuff out, I'll probably just add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, some oil and vinegar. So those will be my veggies. All right, so anyhow, while this is heating, I can at least start doing some of the prep work on the other part, because there's the potatoes, but then there's also the creamy stuff, right? Which is supposed to be cooked as well, but I don't think I want to start it until after this starts to boil, because once this boils, I'm supposed to boil it and then let it get to where they get to fall apart. But I can at least prep some of the things that'll be there. So one of the things that's going to go in the creamy is the garlic. So I have my 3 cloves of garlic here. So let's get those prepped. So that always makes me a little nervous. Oh, that didn't quite work. Because I'm always a little afraid that I might cut myself, but I've done it so many times I've never ever hurt myself. Ooh, that was a clove in a clove. Interesting. Never experienced that before. It's like a little twin embryo clove. All right. And of course you put the blade of the knife is facing away. I don't know if you could see that, so I just put that on top and smash. I don't remember where I learned that, but it's pretty handy. And then you can just take off the little skin. So yeah, I'm not a very good cook, but I learn little things here and there, and maybe someday I'll be a decent cook. Maybe. It's harder to get good at cooking when you cook for yourself, though, because it's much harder to motivate yourself to cook something if you know that if you cook it, you essentially are going to be stuck with eating it for like the next 3 weeks. But I have this particular recipe, I have split in half. So I'm hoping that'll help not have too many. And then depending on how much is left over, I may try to see if I can freeze some of this. And that's kind of my thought process just in general. I was gonna have the recipe for the green beans, but that didn't quite work. I didn't have the recipe on the pumpkin crumble, but I didn't know if you really could have that recipe. Alrighty. So I now have we're now up to our boil. We're kind of hoping these potatoes soon get to the mushy part. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up my, or start getting my garlic ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and cut it up a little bit smaller before I think I'm going to put it in the press. Let's see. Crushed. It says crushed. So yeah, these are kind of big cloves, which for me, makes me happy because I do really like garlic. And who cares what my breath smells like today, because nobody else is here except for the cat. And well, he can't say anything about breath. So, all right. So I'm gonna put half and half. So let me grab that from the refrigerator. And I'm going to be putting that in a saucepan. So I can just go ahead and put it all together here. Okay, and let's see, how much half and half is it? 2 cups of half and half. You know what? It was also 2 cups of half and half for the other thing. It's probably gonna use almost all the half and half I have. Actually, it's gonna use exactly all the half and half I have. Well, I'm glad I bought the exact amount I did then. Okay. So. So in other words, just so you know, this much half and half is the exact amount you need in order to do half of a thing of potato. Oh. That's, wait. Oh no, that's twice what I need. Hang on. Good thing I checked that out. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna put this in the refrigerator for now and then figure out how to do that later. Okay, maybe I can pour it back into the thing since I put it in that. All right, so I put that in there and then the garlic. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, I already took out the mash. And yes, 3 cloves is correct. The original recipe had 6. Yeah. Oh. You didn't see that. I'm the only one eating it, so it doesn't really matter. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. We are almost there with all the garlic. I think that might be all of the garlic then. All right. So let's get these out of the way. And that gets to heat till simmering. Doing that, I am going to quickly check on the potatoes. They are supposed to cook until they fall apart when poked with a fork. So let's see, how are we doing? No, that's not falling apart. But that sound right there says it's time to check on the tofurkey. Let me grab, where did I put the instructions? Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to uncover this. Oh, in case you've never seen a tofurkey. Ta-da! Okay, so now I open that up and I'm going to put the rest of the base, what do they call it? Yeah, the base on it. And this base, oh, I didn't stop the timer. Here we go. Make sure it's stirred up. And I'm going to pour the remaining of this on top of here. Okay, okay, and now I put it back in the oven just like this for 10 minutes. Okay, all right. So far the house is still standing, so I call that a success. I'm gonna turn up the potatoes a little. All right. So we're gonna take a little pause while these are cooking, and then we'll be back in just a moment. All right, so the potatoes are ready for draining. While I was in the process of draining, it dawned on me I accidentally forgot to have the salt. So in order to try to keep from being way too salty, my plan is to rinse the potatoes. I know it's probably a bad idea, but I don't want these to be so salty that I can't eat them. One thing we do know is I will not be adding more salt. Okay, so those are done. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to turn up the temperature a little bit on this here cream because it's supposed to be like sauteing, but it's getting warm, but it's not quite where I want it to be. In the meantime, though, while it is doing its thing, I am supposed to mash these here potatoes and then add that. So I'm actually going to put them in this dish because, well, it's kind of festive, it's kind of pretty, so why not? And the best means I can think of mashing them is actually with this. It is not a potato masher, but it is an avocado masher. And so now, since these are as soft as they are, it should be a similar consistency. Yeah, it's a little bit thicker than an avocado, but it's working. An avocado masher, you ask, how does one get an avocado masher like this? By being a good friend. Well, by going to Pampered Chef parties and feeling obligated to buy something to help support your friends so they can get more free stuff. So there you have it. Okay, well, this is pretty well mashed, but of course it'll mash better even once I add the cream sauce to it. And then we also add some Parmesan. And these are looking like they are going to be pretty good. And thank goodness, I think they will be done on time. Ooh, and they're going to be done and ready to go right about the same time that tofurkey is ready to come out of the oven, because it says it's going to be ready in about 10 seconds. All right, well, hopefully this will be warm enough once I'm done taking this out. Off and off. And let's take out the tofurkey. Ooh, that looks delicious. I'll use this in just a moment to cut that. I'll give it a chance to cool a little first. All right, and we are simmering, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And now our garlic half and half in with the potatoes. Oh, yeah. I don't want to miss any of the goodness in here, so I'm going to go ahead and use my rubber scraper. There we go. Oh. Got my Zoom already open. Dad just came into the Zoom. Okay. I'm gonna show him the potatoes. All right, and then I'm supposed to add 3 ounces of Parmesan. Which I know this is probably not the way to measure this, but it's what I'm gonna do. How many ounces are in here anyway? 6. Oh, just use half of the bag. That seems about halvesies. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I think this is all going to be just fine. I'll let you know how it is later. All right, so as you can tell, it's quite a bit later. I had my dinner with my family, so I didn't get a chance to do like the official taste test on camera, but it's time for dinner, which means leftovers. So you can see the official taste test. These are the creamy garlic mashed potatoes, and they turned out delicious. Rinsing them worked. They're not terribly salty, so that was good. And then I think I gave you showed a taste test of these earlier, but I don't care. It's actually quite delicious. So this is the pumpkin crumble. So good. So I'll be having that for leftovers along with a little tofurkey. And hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoyed the video.